Welcome to another Top 5 with Kris 05, guys. Today we will look at 5 of the best performing decks in Hearthstone, which should remain strong even after the nerfs. I will give you their win rates, a mulligan guide, and if it's worth crafting them. So if you enjoy what I'm doing, a like and a subscribe would really be appreciated. Now, let's get into it. So the nerfs only hit 3 cards, and 2 cards got a mild buff. Overall, the nerfs are not too hard for standard, and they did sleep on quite a few busted cards too, so I do expect another wave of nerfs to drop by soon. Don't forget to keep your cards till they actually get nerfed, and after that you can disenchant them for their full dust value. It's always a good idea to disenchant all of your nerfed cards, since if you feel that you want them back later, you can just craft them back for the same exact price, so you won't lose anything in the process. Anyway, the first deck on the list, despite the nerfs, is still gonna be Rogue. And let's talk about Secret Rogue in this one, also known as Miracle Rogue. Secret Passage is just a really strong card, and even after the nerf, I do expect that it's gonna remain strong, and all of the Rogue archetypes will remain at the top too. This deck relies on tempoing out, while stalling out your opponent with secrets, neophytes and stunners, while you flood the board with your small dudes, or with your Eddy and tall adventurers. It generates tons of extra cards with your cats, wand thieves, Kanar, and your miscreants, but your new secret plagiarize can also offer you a lot of cool stuff. Neophyte is an excellent stalling tool against some classes that are expected to throw spells early on, and it's even better when you're playing against someone who's going second, because you can deny them their mulligan plan if they actually wanted to coin out something earlier. Kanar can be an excellent value generator, but don't get baited into just throwing out random, useless secrets instead of actually building your board instead. Getting random secrets is fun, but sometimes it's just better to develop your board instead of lighting up the Christmas tree, so keep an open mind. Also, something that a lot of people actually don't know is that Kanar will always offer you secret from the other 3 classes, and not from the one you played the secret from. This means that if you play a rogue secret, he will offer you a mage, hunter and paladin secret. If you pick the paladin secret from those, he will offer you mage, hunter and rogue secret, and so on. This way, you can have a reliable game plan in your head, and you will actually know if you will be able to play the next secret from him. For the matchups, your worst one would be Bomb Warrior, since they don't care too much for your secrets, and they have plenty of ways to kill off your wide or tall board. Secret rogues with Vendetta and Dragon's Horde might also have an edge over you, but overall it's pretty green all around. For the mulligan, you want your cats and dirty tricks the most. Ambush and Neophyte are also pretty good, and depending on the matchup, you might want your backstab too. Kanar is a pretty good keep pretty much always, and if you're going second, you might consider a big Eddy plan too. Don't get baited into keeping wand thieves, blackjack stunners, and your questing adventurers. Those would be better in the mid game instead. Secret Passage is actually considered a good keep in this deck, but I'm not too sure if I would keep that in my mulligans. The deck is definitely worth checking out, and I don't think you will be too sad crafting it. All of its legendaries are good, and if you don't have the passages, now is an excellent time to try them out basically for free, since you can craft them and diss them for the same price after. The weapon rogue from my last guide is also doing pretty great, and so is Stealth Rogue, so the choice is yours. Moving down to Soul Demon Hunter. This particular list seems to be doing best in top 1000 right now, even though it is missing a few cool cards like Magterodon and Wandmaker. It opts for better early game with Battle Fiends and more card draw with the 2 Spectral Sights. The deck usually starts off slow, but in the mid game, once the mana starts ramping up, it can burst a lot. Usually, you take a more control-y stance in the early mid game, and after that, you just burst them. The Warblades can heal you for a ton, especially if you combo them with your Twin Slice or with your Lapidary. You have an I-Beam, and you also shuffle quite a few shards, so you have some heal on drip. For the matchups, Libram Paladin and Guardian Druid will be hard for you, since you don't really have a way to deal with tall dudes, but other than that, you should be doing quite alright. For the mulligan, you will pretty much always want your good 1-drops and your Pantara. Soul Shear is also pretty good, and if you're expecting wide boards, you might also want to keep Mystic, and Blade Dance can be helpful too. If you're against aggro, keeping Warblade for the heal might help you stabilize. If your Spectral Sight is already on the most left, you can also keep that so you get the extra card draw. This deck is doing quite alright right now, and it's not too expensive either, so it's definitely worth trying out. If the post-nerf meta shifts hard into Guardian Druid and Libram Paladin, it might drop in power since those 2 are not great matchups, but I still think it's worth the shot. Aggro Demon Hunter is also doing fine for climbing 2 Legend, but after that for top 1000 Legend, Soul is the way to go. Next up is Tortollan Mage. This is quite the interesting deck, but it's not easy, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. It is essential for you to be able to play Tortollan Pilgrim before you get your Potions of Illusion, So that is why we have both Polkit and the Orb. The only spells you run here are the Freezes and the Potion. So that way you're guaranteed to get those 3 spells every time you play your Pilgrim. Even though you originally only run those 3 spells, you will have plenty of ways to discover extra spells from the Thieves and Wand Makers, and you also have your Arcane Missile generators from the Spell Wings, so you should have no problem proccing your Firebrands. You have plenty of taunts and heals too, so you have time to get your War Mage, so you can start poking your opponent to death. I haven't tried the deck myself, but it's pretty awkward playing against them. I would assume it's not rare for you to get your potions before you start doing your shenanigans, which can be pretty awkward for you. But you still have tons of freezes, so you can pretty much perma-freeze your opponent and just poke him with your board. You have to be good with your hand size and also manipulating what copies you get, but as long as you concentrate, you should be doing well. Soul Demon Hunters and Face Hunters would be hard for you, and Secret Rogue is not favored either, but all in all, it's pretty good. Bomb Warrior can actually be pretty disruptive for you as well, since the bombs will be offered from Tortollans too, but it's not too far away from 50%, so it wouldn't be too one-sided. For the mulligan, Sphere would be your MVP. It would be crucial for you to keep on shuffling those potions back into your deck so you don't disrupt your combo. Spellwings, Wand Thieves and Makers would be pretty good for you as well. Solarian and Firebrand can help, and you can even keep your Tortollan so you're ready for the combo on 8. Depending on the matchup, you can also keep some of your cheaper tech cards. And you can even keep Polkit so you can make sure you get the combo in time. Again, the deck is not too expensive, and the legendaries you have to craft here are pretty good as well. So feel free to try it, as long as you're up for the challenge. Since Rogue is getting nerfed, a lot of people will stop playing it, since even though it's still gonna remain strong, people tend to go away from nerfed decks. So that's gonna be one less bad matchup for you. Small Spell Mage is also doing pretty good still, but Highlander Mage is not doing too hot, even though it can still do wonders in skilled hands. Now let's talk about Guardian Druid. Even though Kael'thas got nerfed a few weeks ago, the deck is still going rampant, and it will be even stronger after the nerfs. Get it? Rampant? The deck still does busted stuff way too early, and that will not change until cards like Guardian Animals and Bloom don't get touched. So feel free to abuse this powerhouse while it's still broken. We have 2 animated brooms here, so you can guarantee card draws from your runners even from hand. Or you can use it for an earlier clear with the Freshers, or for a ton of rushers when you get your Acera Dragons. Even though Kael got nerfed, it still fits in the deck pretty well, and if it can manage to stick around for one turn, things get pretty scary. Overflow helps you cycle and heal nicely, and you have your Survival of the Fittest for the late game too. You are missing out on the crystal powers in this version, but if you want to get them back, you have to swap out the brooms probably. Fast decks like Zulok, Stealth Rogue and Face Hunter can be a problem, and Tortollan Mage has enough time to do its shenanigans against you too. Bomb Warrior is on the negative side too, but everything else is fine. For the mulligan, you want to get your ramp and something to ramp into. That is why Overgrowth, Wildgrowth, and Guardian Animals and even Kael'thas are at the top of your keep list. Nature Studies is also pretty good for you, and you can even cheat out ramp with it earlier. Lightning Bloom is also a pretty good keep, and you can even keep Gidra against some matchups too. Again, this is not a bad deck to craft right now, and it's gonna do even better after the nerfs. I do expect it's gonna get nerfed in the next 1 month though, so keep that in mind and decide for you if that's gonna be okay for you. And the last deck on the list is again a deck that I expect is gonna get nerfed soon, Libram Paladin. It's still one of the best decks to climb to Legend with, and it's pretty consistent too. It has plenty of busted cards and good synergies, and you can do wonders with it when piloted correctly. Again, no reason for me to go into detail about it and its mulligan guide, when I've already discussed it in my detailed guide about it. You can just check it out and learn everything you need to know about the deck, so you can pilot it optimally, and you can also check out some games with it too. Let's take a look at the matchups still and see how it's doing in the current situation. Aggro Demon Hunter and Zulox can be a problem for you when they curve out too fast, and Secret Rogue is a problem with Saps and Blackjack Stunners. Mages are not too fun for you with their Devolving Missiles and Freezes, and Galakron Warlock can be a problem too. Other than that, you will probably be favored as long as you know what you're doing. It's still worth crafting this deck if you're not missing too much from it, but I really think it will get nerfed soon. It would probably survive it though, with minor adjustments, so you should be alright with it. There's also a non-pure Libram Paladin list out there, which is also doing pretty good, but keep in mind that it's harder to pilot. Other than that, Bomb Warrior and Face Hunter are still doing pretty good, and overall, my last top 5 was pretty spot on and still is. Priest isn't as amazing right now, and after the nerf it's gonna drop even lower, even though, again, the nerf wasn't so hard. Shaman has left the chat. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope this helps you find your perfect deck after the nerfs and before that. A like and a subscribe would be awesome. Thanks for watching. I'm Kris05 and I'll see you in my next video or stream.